Hello, hello. Good morning. Well, good afternoon. Well, good morning, good evening, and good night from The Truman Show, if any of you have seen it. Right, so welcome to another Drakonym stream. We are going to be covering careers and, yeah, die presses like dice. What is going on here? Hello. Okay, so, as promised, good time zone. Happy time zone. Right, so today we're going to be covering off Drakonym, as always, Tuesday. So, wanted to go over some stuff that we've been currently working on, showcase some bits off so that you guys can get a bit of a better idea of what the vibe is. And yeah, we're looking quite good on things at the minute. So, let me grab some bits and bobs so that we can sort of get you guys in. Right, I need to grab the chat so that I've got the window up. Nice. Cool. Okay, so first things first, let's go over some general updates for Drakonym. So we move over to this one. Okay, so general updates for Drakonym. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so first things first, some updates for you. I have edited the rules for Halfkin. So they have basically a bit more clear design process on there. And I've added in the other page for the kin. So we've got the Featherborn Adafane or Featherborn Human, and then the Inferni Ferovox. So really nice stuff there. Then I have added in some details for the paths. So they're basically done at this point as well, and changed up some of the careers. Dragons have been changed as well, but before that I have added in some details on dragon items. So this is stuff like armor, weapons that you can buy for your dragon, basically with some details on how they are going to function. Next is spells. The spell techniques have had a rehaul on how they look. So now you have a 3D visual guide on what they're going to look like. So you can see visually in 3D space how something like this is going to look, which is going to be really good. So you can see a wall is 2 squares high, 5 contiguous squares that you can put around however you want. You can target a creature that is within 5 squares of you. A line is 5 squares in a straight line. Sphere is a 3 square diameter sort of like sphere, but it's within 5 squares at you. Emanation is 2 squares in every direction, and a cone is 3 squares originating from you. So very clear, very visual. You'll be able to immediately understand how it works. And then we get on to dragons. And I know some people have been asking, and officially the game will be supporting half dragons. The little wizard is me. Yeah, that it's meant to be me. Technically I am Bramble. So yeah, but yeah, half dragons are now real. Yeah, so I mean, there's not really much to say because they've been redesigned to work like kin. Half dragon rules work exactly the same. You will pick a main family and a secondary family, and then you'll just join them together. It's literally as easy as that. I don't really think there's much else to say here. Yeah. Pick a primary family, pick a secondary family. You'll pick the core perk and the minor perk from the thing, and then you'll pick the major perk from the secondary, and then you'll level up. So yeah, it's quite simple. You've got the Moon Aura dragon here, so fluffy but with the moon sigils on it, and it's got the fins of the moon dragon. You've got the sort of like, I think this is meant to be the sun dragon with a pyre dragon mix, and this one is a storm shard dragon. So yeah, it is it's quite clean visual designs here for you guys to get your teeth into. Looking really good. I don't really have much else to say on this part because it's just really easy to understand, really easy to get a hold of. Works beautifully with the current system and doesn't need any extra stuff implemented. So yeah. Cool. Right, so I am then working on the aerial combat rules. They are now done as well. It's very simple. It functions exactly the same as a normal combat, except you have up and down. You have a measurement of height. Depending on the height, you'll gain certain things. So the high ground, if you attack a target below you, add 1d6. If they are above you, your attack suffers bane. You have charge line. If you move 4 squares in a straight line before a melee attack, you automatically gain +1 success on it. If you ascend, you will have to spend 2 of your movement per square. Descending is going to cost the same. It's not non-ascent, it's just any direction. If you move 4 squares in any direction, you'll get the bonus. It doesn't need to be non-ascent anymore. So yeah, functionally it works. It is really clean, really easy. Again, didn't need much else. Dragons have an action list, so you'll basically be using this to help you understand what a dragon can do. And then you have aerial maneuvers, which can only be done while they're in the air. But yeah, again, really easy and simple. Cool. It's not 8 AP. It's not. It's technically 2 movement actions. So, for example, here, movement is 1 AP. If you want to ascend the same distance, it's just going to cost you 2 AP. So you just need to spend 2 actions to move the same distance that you would move with 1. Your speed is essentially halved when moving upwards. So yeah. Cool. Okay. That's that. Let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so that's done. That's done. Nice. Cool. So I can go over the careers. Yeah, very quick update. There's not really much else that that has been changed. Let's see. Yeah, careers. Cool. Okay. So, careers. Careers are basically your character's motivation and your ongoing journey. They are essentially going to be where you came from, but also what you're currently doing. So there are currently 8 careers in Drakonym. There's the artisan, the charlatan, the investigator, the noble, the outcast, the scholar, the veteran, and the wanderer. Each one has a key focus, so it's more narrative focus. So the artisan is great at crafting, the charlatan is great at deception, the investigator is investigation, the noble is leadership, outcast survival, scholar research, veteran is combat tactics, and the wanderer is exploration. Each of them has a starting wealth. You can see that some are way richer than others. This will be how much you gain. You will always gain the first, career that you choose from. So, for example, if you wanted to be an artisan noble, you're an artisan first. So you will always be a bit less, wealthy. But if you wanted to pick noble artisan, you can do that. It doesn't really change the narrative consequences, just how much gold you have. But I don't think anyone's going to really bother with anything like that. So when creating your character, you will pick 2 careers and gain both their entry perks, or pick 1 career and one of its trees. So I'll show you how that works in a minute. But yeah. So you'll pick a key career, which is your first one, primary career, I guess. And yeah. So we'll start with one and just sort of show you. So careers are laid out quite simply. They're not super duper complex. The basic idea is it tells you what you are the master of, a bit of detail on what you can expect from this career, social focus, so narratively, what are you? So the artisan are blacksmiths, enchanters, and engineers. It should be, yeah, that's it. And then you gain an artisan kit, which has the wealth, and then also some stuff that you get. So these are all narrative stuff, like they don't actually have any mechanical benefit, but you can use them narratively. So crafting apron, journal with blueprints, a pouch of crafting materials. For example, okay, hey, I'm going to create I want to upgrade my weapon. I have a pouch of crafting materials. The herald may say, you can use that once, and you need to go get a new one in order to continue on. And you're like, okay, great, I'm going to use that. That's how it would work. It's more a narrative tool the herald can use to help you, rather than it being something that you are going to mechanically use. So yeah, every time you pick your first background, you do not pick a tree at the same time. You only pick the background first, the career first, and the career will give you an entry perk. You get both of these. So they get Master Creator, which is Superior Eye. When making mind checks to assess the value, history, or authenticity of relics, magical objects, or fine materials, you gain a boon. Resourceful Maker, gain a boon on checks to improvise tools or equipment from materials. Very clear, very evocative. You know exactly what your kind of character is going to do, and it's clear. Right. So you've picked your background, and you're like, okay, I want to lean into this artisan. Oh my god, I keep saying background. I need to get out of that habit. You've picked your career, and you're like, I want to lean into this career. I want to spend another point, and I'm going to spend it in one of these trees. You literally just pick the tree you want and choose the particular perk that you want from the top. So blacksmith gets hardened steel, trusted blade, arcane spark, coveted craft, tinker's trick, or problem solver. Basically, when you pick a tree, you'll then just pick one of these off the top list. Some may only have one choice, but other times there'll be multiple. So let's say I pick hardened steel. You gain a boon on attack checks when wielding a weapon you crafted. So great stuff. Instantly you're getting a bonus inside your combat checks, right? Great, you're gaining a boon on all weapon checks. This is fantastic. It's great for a combat focused character, but it's also great if you're a normal character who isn't very combat focused but needs to worry about how you're gonna survive. It gives you a bonus regardless of how you try to build. Then you can, at every level, you'll gain another career point. You can then spend a career point on anything. So, for example, I've gone to level 2. I now have an extra point I can spend in my careers. Either I can spend it to go from hardened steel to smith's eye, spend it to go to trusted trade, spend it on arcane spark, coveted craft, tinker's trick, or problem solver, or forego all of this and spend it on a completely new career, getting that entry perk as well. So you have choices. Go into the skill tree you've already started building, start a new one, or start an entirely new career tree, right? A career journey. So, for example, it's meant to be narrative, right? You level up, and you're like, okay, what's this campaign been sorting out for me? All right, I have been an artisan. That's my background. I can say background. That's my background. I grew up as an artisan. My father taught me the trade. He was a blacksmith, so my career is blacksmith. Then you start playing the campaign, right? And, for example, you start gaining money from a patron, and suddenly you're richer than you imagined. Suddenly, you're a noble. So you spend your career point on becoming a noble. You gain the entry perks, and suddenly you have access to this. So, yeah, it's meant to be another path to progression. They're not classes. They are essentially a narrative-focused career path that you can go down. Rather than being, hey, I am a soldier, you might be a noble soldier. But what does a noble soldier look like? What can they do? Instead of just being a single list of, what's the word? A single list of like, okay, you get this language. Oh, you get perks on, you get a boon on this thing. Instead, it's how are you going to narratively play this out? You know, question. It's something that kind of bugged me in every game. How do you play / role play a career in adventurer's life? Well, it's just about how you sort of hold yourself, right? Let's say you pick noble as your career, right? So why would an artisan become heroic? That's up to you. That is not up to me to decide. The system won't give you that information. Your career is just your, I guess, side class. It's what you are alongside your heroic tendencies. Let's say you're a fighter, all right? But you're a noble fighter. You came from a background that's got a lot of money, and you're a career noble. You don't need to worry about jobs because you can just get money from whatever. You have a sigil, you have a name, right? But let's say your career is investigator. You're a fighter, but you're also very smart. You've seen things that other people don't. You know, you're more like a policeman, if you know, or like that sort of detective type character. But let's say instead you want to build a fighter charlatan. You're not a rogue, but you are like a sellsword. You know, you're a bit of a con artist. You'll take, for example, someone might say, all right, I want you to go hunt this thing down. You'll do the bare minimum in order to get the accolades of the job. You know, it's not so much about why am I heroic, it's more about what am I alongside my heroism. The game already assumes you're heroic. It's not going to change that. You're not someone who has suddenly decided to go on an adventure. Your character has been on an adventure already for a long time. This is now just, what are you alongside your heroic tendencies? Are you someone who is a master of deception? Are you someone who is tinkering during your downtime? Are you someone who is going to be the eyes of the group? Are you going to be someone who is the leader of the group? You know, where do you fit within the group itself? What this means is you could have an entire set of 4 fighters. None of them will be the same archetype of character, because you could have the fighter outcast, you could have the fighter scholar, you could have the fighter veteran, and even the fighter wanderer, and all of them will be different archetypes of the same class, essentially moving you more into the narrative. And those 4 characters shouldn't be the same in terms of the narrative draw. Their stories will be different. Yeah, so it's more a focus on the narrative. Think of them in narrative classes. I think if I'm gonna have to give them a thing, you get a more mechanical class and you get a narrative class. Together, that's what makes your character. So yeah. Nice, that's nice. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, this is, okay, yeah, so here's what I would look at. Your your class is the things you can do. Your career is who you are. That's the way that I would look at it, right? A fighter investigator may be really skilled with a blade, but what he does is he notices the inconsistencies in the scene. He's the one who can put together something to help the party going forward, you know? Because the problem I have is that in most games, your class becomes your narrative, who you are, right? If you're a rogue, you instantly become the face of the group, or you become the rogue archetype, you know, and all that. And I'm not really a big fan of all that. So it's like changes slightly. I'm curious, getting ashes, covens as add-ons, they said there'll be classes associated with those. Have they been thought out to how they'll function? No worries. Yes, exactly that, right? Sherlock Holmes versus 007. Like, Sherlock Holmes in my head would be a Vale detective, but 007 would be a fighter profiler, for example, right? That's the kind of idea. Functionally, they're both doing the same thing, but the way they do it is completely different. Yeah, so basically, you'll get a background similar to this, career, and it just says your career is, I don't know, currently they'll just be called Bramble Trek or something silly like that. And then you'll have a social focus which is themed around the game. So it might be you are better at talking to animals, you're better at being in forest environments, you're better at understanding magical concepts, as an example. And you'll get entry perks that are themed to the game. Ashes, it might say that you are going to have more abilities with ancient lore. You're more at ease when you're inside environments that are more deadly. You have the ability to resurrect yourself once. That's like a background. It's who you are. You are able to do this. You have the connection closer to the gods and other characters because you're a scion from Ashes. And then if you're a character from Covens, you have boons that allow you to speak to the gods more clearly than others. You have abilities that allow you to interact with the arcane world a bit more than others. You have something that you carry with you that instantly gives you access to a patron, but you don't gain power for the patron, you just have the access to it. You can find out more about the covens that exist within the world. Stuff like that, right? That's the kind of idea. So yeah, it's basically your career was you came from these games and have now been brought into this world. So yeah. Cool. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them. Yeah, so all of them also have like trees. So the basic idea is, let's say you're an urchin, you've paid a point to get street smart, and then you're like, cool, I'm going to deepen into this career tree, I'm going to get slip away. And then you go, oh, well, I want to now get, I know this place. So you can go from slip away to I know this place and end your tree here. But you could also go from slip away to quick step. And you can get this now because you've unlocked the prerequisite, which is slip away. And then you can get to tunnel rat, right? But there are others as well, like like hard knock life, right? So you can go from scavenger's edge, but you won't be able to pass through to hard knock life until you get always a way out. So it sort of locks you from the entire tree until you've also bought this, because the stuff in here are better than the stuff you get here. Like you get the ability to use improvised weapons, for example. Yeah. So cool. You get a boon. It's in the demo. Boons are basically my advantage. You just roll. You roll, and then one of your 5s is counted as a success. A Bane is one of your 5s are ignored. Sorry, a 4 is counted as a success. A 5 is ignored. But yeah. Gotta say, I'm loving this. Too often in games, players become one-trick ponies. You put a barbarian in a city, they have nothing to offer. Exactly. This is the exact thing I wanted to solve. It also solves the issue of a ranger being useless outside their preferred terrain. It means that no matter where you are, something you can do is going to be useful. So like, for example, when you intentionally take a risky or reckless approach, social, physical, or tactical, you roll the check with a Bane, you gain a boon on the next related check if it works, but still gain an information/clue if it doesn't. You can see where that might help, right? It doesn't force you into a style of play, but it goes, let's say you are a character who is very risky and risk prone. You might jump into this and go, oh, you know what? I want to mess around with this thing a little more. You're getting rewarded for a style of play without putting you into a shell and saying this is the only way that you can play. Just as an example. So yeah. If you want to play a druid type character, just build, go into mage, build a mage, make your subclass a either elementalist or inherent could also work. And then for your career, just pick wanderer, explorer, or you can pick naturalist. So you get stuff like wild reader, empathetic, where you can speak with animals, flora keeper, herbalist. Yeah. So I would say a druid would be mage, inherent, or whatever the other one I said was, and a naturalist as your career. So I hope that helps. Let me know if that helps. That's actually quite a good idea, actually. If you have an idea for a character and you're like, oh, how would you build them in this game? Drop it, and then we can see if we can build them. Because I will have gone through enough of the game now, so we could potentially do that. So, paths are no longer locked to level 3. You can pick a path at any point. You just have to be willing to look into the paths early on. They're just more complex than a normal subclass. That's the only thing. But yeah. So, Aragorn, good idea, right? Let's build Aragorn. So, I would say that Aragorn is a fighter. I would pick his subclass as potentially either Guardian or Champion, building out a bit more as to his sort of goals in combat. I'd say it's a bit more Champion, so he's a bit more skilled with multiple weapons. And then for his career, I would pick Wanderer, and then pick I would probably either pick Survivor or Explorer, you know? Like, I'm aware of the wild, I'm a bit more prepared than others, you know, I've got the instincts, and I'm a bit more inquisitive. So, like, Explorer gets always prepared, which means that you can roll your preparedness check and keep the higher, re-roll a preparedness check and keep the higher. Basically, you gain advantage on your preparedness checks. You're more likely to be prepared than someone else. Yeah. Let's see here. Exactly. So then you go, right, the narrative story is telling me that he's going to become a noble. Okay, at level X, I'm going to now pick noble as my career, and I'm going to put my points into diplomat. And he's got soothing words, he's got voice of the calm, parlay, treaty maker, subtle influence. You see where the story takes you. That's what a career is. It's not building out the most optimal, it's building out what the narrative is telling you is going on with your character. You might not want to build any of this. You might go, oh, I'm only going to build noble. What if you suddenly get hit with the question of, oh, but my character has now lost everything because of something that's happened? You know? Then suddenly they go from noble to now having to pick a career in urchin, where they've lost everything, and they have, not urchin, sorry, outcast, and they become an urchin. They've lost everything, but they get trash to tools. You know, that's fun as a concept. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I would advise using your narrative to help you decide what you pick. But yeah. Yusuke Urameshi, let's see. I do need to watch a few more animes at this point. So let's see. How does the game balance the bigger amount of money for a noble compared to different career in between players in a group? The game won't balance it. You've got to balance that yourself. I'm not gonna. You can just purchase a certain number of things earlier than others. There is no real balance. It's up to you how that happens. Yeah. There is no rules for dropping a career because it's always something you have. But we can. I might do sort of like resets. You know, you can reset your career, but it is a Herald decision, if I'm to be completely honest. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh God, I completely forgot about this. Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, good lord. Completely forgot about that show. Right. I would build him out as an acolyte, given his demon sort of hunting aspects of it. And I would pick maybe Pact Binder? Maybe? Yeah. Something like Pact Binder might be good. Then I would build him into a detective, investigator, sorry, and then build him into a augur, which is the occultist type of character. So you have occultist, dream omen, forewarned. You have a bit more connection to the spirituality of things. That's how I would build him. Yeah. If you've got any more questions about careers, please drop them in. I think careers. The good thing about careers is they're not very. They're not. There's not a lot needed for heavy explanation. But yeah. Yeah. The investigator is gonna be. You got detectives, augur, and profiler. The detective is crime solving. The augur is supernatural crime solving, and the profiler is reading people specifically. So I'd say it's Sherlock, supernatural, and then I don't know. No, actually, I'd say profiler is more Sherlock. The detective's more like Batman, for example. But yeah, any career path or building out illusionist like Loki. Yeah, let's do Loki. I would build a mage, and I would pick illusionist as my specific path. So mage illusionist. Then as my path, as my subclass. Then I would then go for my career. Let's see, which one would I pick? I would probably pick noble. You know, he is a noble. So I would pick noble and then build him probably into either an aristocrat or commander, right? Because he does command an army. Will there be a stream dedicated to difference in solo play? Yes, but not at any time soon. I will warn everyone, the solo play will not happen until after the playtesting material is out and has been dealt with. There is no point in me writing the solo system if it doesn't function with the final system. So I'm just going to forewarn everyone. It won't happen probably. It may not happen this year. Might be 2026 that I might lean into that. But yeah. Optimus Prime. Okay. Well, Optimus Prime is going to be a fighter. And I would probably build him as a guardian, because that's the kind of character he is. He is more about protecting others than, fighting for himself. And then for his career, I would pick noble, thinking about the spark that he's received, and being a prime. That is not something that you are given. You are born to be a prime, and you become a prime. And I would say he's a commander. Easy. Done. I built Optimus Prime in Drakonym. Never words I thought that I would say. I have played Fire Emblem. Let's build Marth. Marth from Fire Emblem would be a fighter, of course. I think that just makes sense. I think they would be a champion, just because of their abilities. And then I will build out their career as going to be... I wouldn't go for Noble with him. I think I would go... No, I would go Noble, because he is more noble than a Wanderer. I think I would go for either Diplomat or Commander. I think I would go Diplomat. Diplomat's a bit more focused on the de-escalation of stuff as well. So yeah, I'd go Fighter Diplomat for Marth from Fire Emblem. Inuyasha. I haven't seen Inuyasha in years. Okay. Right. Inuyasha Fighter Champion Wanderer Survivor. There you go. I think we've done it. We've taught enough of this system that people are just building their own. Great job. No, genuinely though, this is really fun. I think that the careers are really interesting as a concept. They're going to allow you to build a character that is more unique than just being a simple, I'm a fighter, I do this. I'm a barbarian, I'd like to rage. I have had enough of I'm a barbarian who is not smart. Get out of here. Can we do Captain America? Sure. I would say Captain America... Let's see, what we got? Face, Infiltrator, Shadow Dancer. I love that all of you are we're just building fighters here. I'd go fighter for Captain America again, but I would pick Guardian because it's meant to be shield. But I would also pick the Iron Guard path as his as a choice for him, so that he gets more bonuses when he uses a shield. So that would work for me. Oh gosh, what's going on here? Paragraph 9.8, 12. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. Iron Guard, and then for his background, for his career, I would pick Veteran. You know, talking of his war career, and then put him into the Tactician or Soldier as his career. Oh, Sailor Moon's easy. I would pick the Sailor Moon. I'd pick a Mage. I would then pick a Inherent, because you're bringing in the power that you've got within you. But you can also tie it to a relic if you want. I'd say if you really wanted to go, oh, but then I want something that isn't tied to a relic, then just pick Performer. It's a bit more focused on helping those around you. And then for their career, I would just pick the Detective, the Investigator, Occultist. Olga, sorry, because it's about supernatural stuff. Cool. Sailor Moon, done. But obviously you can pick multiple, so I would maybe pick something that's a bit chill for the schoolgirl side of things, and then pick the Augur as the nighttime, you know? Magical girl by night. Scholar. Yeah, Scholar Investigator sounds good to me. Yeah, Noble also works. But you just build that when you get to second level, right? Sorted. Done. But yeah. That's what I think is fun here. You can build a lot of character ideas. Just seeing our Madam Web. I would say Veil, easily. Just trying to think now. I'm trying to look at what I've got and then thinking where we could go, you know? Okay, let's just do Veil. I think that's probably easier. Veil, we'll go with a... I don't know. She's a hard one, I will say, because she's more about seeing the future. There's not really a class that lets you do that. Actually, screw it. Let's just go with Mage. We'll go with a bit more magic focus. No, wait. Actually, we do have it. We have Acolyte. Yes. Yeah, let's go with Acolyte. Let's go with Hierophant, which is interpreting signs, High Priest, Consecrate Ground, or even Oracle, which is Final Word, Prophetic, Second Sight, Seer's Warning. So Trance of Foresight. You can ask questions and see more about the world. So your Oracle subclass. And then for the career, let's go for... She's more about controlling the lines around her. I think Augur would still be the way to go with her, but I might go either Historian, Keen Knowledge, Insight. So Scholar, maybe? Scholar, Augur would be the way I'd go. Build Scholar, then dive in my points into Augur in the future to give her that supernatural side of things as well. Multiclassing is not a thing at the minute. You can... Yeah. It was, you can build a path, but you can't multi-class. Oh, it would 100% be hard to balance. Yeah. We're coming up to the end though, so I think it's a good place to end because I don't really think there's much. I'm trying to look at my notes and there's not really much else to cover on careers at this stage. I think we're looking good, but yeah. Yeah, you've already got so many options to flesh out your character. Remember, it's only 10 levels. 20 levels, I can see multiclassing needs to be a thing. 10 levels, you don't need multiclassing at all. You're allowed to build however much you want, and also you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff for your class if you suddenly have multiclassing. The reason multiclassing does not exist is because I didn't want people to do how you like to balance things. It's a GM nightmare. It's just not fun. So yeah, that's why multiclassing is not a thing. Yes, Rain, you can build a druid very easily. Right, so quick build for a druid is pick a mage. Pick an acolyte. Pick the Wild Heart subclass. Then go into your career and pick Wanderer and deepen yourself into the Naturalist tree. So, real easy. Acolyte class, Wild Heart subclass, Wanderer, Naturalist tree, done. You've got a druid very easily. If you want to go even further into druid, you can then pick the Sage, the Earthsworn path, and get access to all of the sort of like more druidic abilities as well. So yeah, easy stuff. It can be done. But I think I'll end it there. I think there's not really much else to cover. Careers are quite easy to understand. They are there to improve your ability to write your character in a narrative sense. They are not there to replace anything on your character. They are there to enhance your ability to tell a story. They are sometimes combat, they're sometimes social, but most times they're both, because it's meant to allow you to be at any situation better. Barbarians are not good outside combat because of the rules being so heavily tied to it. The way that you will build Barbarian here are way different because you've got stuff like the careers that can lend you more abilities outside of anything that combat related. Yeah. You could play an entire game without combat. I know a lot of things are going to be focused on it, but you could play an entire game without it if you wanted to. And that's what this game allows you for. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. We'll catch up on Thursday with another stream. Oh no, sorry, not with another stream. We'll catch up on Thursday and I'll see what I can do. It might be a stream, it might be a video, I don't know. I haven't planned it out, but I did do a stream yesterday and I don't want to burn myself out too quickly. But if you have any questions, Discord, best place to go. I will answer anything that I can as quickly as I can. But I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you've missed it, yesterday I had a live reading of my new novel. So do go give that a listen. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys enjoy your week. And I will catch you all definitely next week, but I'll catch you all later. Thank you so much for all your time, and I will see you all soon. Bye.